Hello everyone and welcome to Winshuttle Transaction Advanced II training. I am Miia from ADSOTECH, your Winshuttle partner in the Nordics, and I'm here to guide you through our three training packages, Basic, Advanced 1 and Advanced 2. These packages are designed for new Winshuttle Transaction users with a developer license. We are now in the Advanced 2 training package, which includes cell-based mapping, conditions, long texts, and making scripts available for the runner users. This is the fourth and final part of that package, concentrating on how to hand scripts over to runner users. Let's dive in. First of all, the different ways of executing scripts. Developer users have what we call the developer application, so Winshuttle transaction. Runner users have a similar application, but something that we call Winshuttle transaction runner. You can run your scripts using those applications. But most users, if they are just running existing scripts, will want to run their scripts directly from Excel using the Excel add-in for Winshuttle. In order to use the Excel add-in, you need to have a license to use Winshuttle transaction, and of course you need to have the Winshuttle application installed as well on your PC. As soon as you have Winshuttle application installed on your computer, you should be able to see a new Winshuttle menu in your Excel. That's the Excel add-in that I'm talking about. In order to use the Excel add-in, you must have a license to use Winshuttle. Now, a Winshuttle transaction developer has created a script and an Excel file to go with it. After they are happy with the script and the Excel file, they will share either the script and the Excel file or just the Excel file with other users. Now, these users will most likely want to use the scripts directly from Excel. So all they will do is open the Excel file that is given and then run their scripts from there using the Excel add-in. Your Excel file should at this point contain one or several scripts published into it. And if there are some scripts like that within the Excel file itself, then you are able to use only one of those scripts. If for some reason your Excel file does not contain any scripts inside it, then a Winshuttle user can use the add-in and pick any script that's available in their file system. Before handing out scripts and Excel files to other users, script developers should publish the corresponding scripts to the correct Excel file. So it's much easier for other users to use the correct scripts with correct Excel files directly from Excel, not having to open the Winshuttle application as a separate window on their computer at all. So when we talk about the add-in in Excel, we talk about scripts that are published to an Excel file. One script or several scripts. Publishing scripts means putting the actual scripts inside an Excel file. Whenever we create a new script, we always make a pair of that script with an Excel file, but that's not yet publishing. There's a link between the two, there's a connection, but the actual script is not inside the Excel file yet. The script developer has to publish the script separately for it to then be inside the Excel file. And once it is published, then an end user is able to easily use that script directly from the Excel file. This Excel add-in is always installed and activated by default when you install a Winshuttle application on your computer. When I say Winshuttle application, I mean Winshuttle transaction or Winshuttle transaction runner. It happens sometimes that you want to enable or disable your add-in. If you close your Excel first, so close all of your sessions of Microsoft Excel, you can simply go to your Winshuttle application, Winshuttle transaction, and under Tools, Option, Application Defaults, you will find a tick box that says Enable Excel add-in or something similar. In order to turn on or off this option, you need administrative authority on your computer. Should you ever have any issues with your Excel add-in, the most commonly encountered issues would be simply that the Winshuttle menu has disappeared from your Excel window. Then first make sure that the add-in is enabled in Excel as well. So it needs to be enabled in Winshuttle Transaction, and it needs to also be enabled in Microsoft Excel. It should be enabled in both places automatically, but sometimes Microsoft Excel, for instance, does something odd and it disables it on its own. So should you have any issues, first take a look at the add-in settings that you have within Microsoft Excel. We're talking about the Excel add-in that we can use in Excel to run our scripts. In connection with that, we're talking about publishing scripts to that Excel file. The publishing needs to happen first. Well, again, it's not technically mandatory, but it makes the user's lives much simpler. So publishing a script to an Excel file is a task for the script's developer, creator of the script. It's a couple of clicks for the developer, but it makes the lives of the users so much simpler. The publishing will actually embed the script inside the Excel file. So it is enough after that to give the Excel file to the end users, and the end users don't have to worry about the script being a separate file and they need to worry about it. They can simply use the Excel file and the script is already there, so you can use the add-in very efficiently to run their scripts. The steps for publishing a script are specific for Connect users. So if your licensing type is Connect, you can use these steps. Central users have slightly different steps, but we are describing Connect users steps here for publishing a script. Again, something that a script's developer will have to do. When you have your run window open, so you have a script open in Winshuttle, somewhere just above the file name and recording mode and things like that, you see buttons. One of those buttons should say Publish in an Excel file. When you click that button, you will get a pop-up talking about exporting to template. Simply define the Excel template that goes with this script, the exact Excel file where you want to embed the script that you have open there in the background. Also give a short description of your script and then simply click OK. In a few seconds you should be getting a prompt saying that the script was published successfully. Click OK from there and you are ready to share your Excel file with other users. Again, if you are using central licensing, your steps are slightly different from here, but the idea is the same. When you do your publishing, or in central we might call it submitting, after that's done, then your script will actually be embedded in the Excel file. So it's very simple for the end users to just open the Excel file, type in their data, and from the add-in run their script. And the add-in might look something like this in Excel. So up top in your Excel, when you open any Excel file, you should see a new menu called Winshuttle. When you click that menu, you get an option or two, one or two buttons. One that says transaction, and if you also have a query license, you might get that option as well. So transaction and query. Right now we're talking about transaction, so you simply click on transaction and you get this side panel here in your window. That's the add-in that we're talking about. Now you can enter your data onto the Excel template in normal fashion, or maybe you have already done that. Fine. Then when you are getting ready to run your script, make sure that from the top here in the add-in, make sure that you have the correct script selected. So you have those embedded scripts inside this Excel file. If there are more than one, there's a drop-down list here. Then you can use to select the appropriate script for your purposes right now. If there's only one option, then there's no selection to be done, and you can simply click on Run. So select the script and run. Of course, you might want to check your start and end row as well, so that it covers the part of your data that you want. The cool thing about this add-in, besides the fact that you can actually run your scripts directly from Excel using this add-in, the other cool things are that you have a couple more extra options here when you are using the Excel add-in compared to running it from the actual Winshuttle application from a separate window. Just above the start and end row here, you have another drop-down list. And over there you have 3 different options. The basic one is as specified below, meaning that you will run according to the start and end row, starting from the start row and ending at latest at the end row. Again, 5 empty consecutive rows rule applies. So if Winshuttle finds 5 consecutive empty rows in your Excel data, it will assume that there's no more data and finish off with the running of the script. But in this drop-down list, we also have 2 other options, selected and filtered. If you select the option selected, it means that Winshuttle will only run those rows of Excel data that you have specifically selected using your mouse. So simply highlight those rows that you want to be run. Doesn't matter if they're right next to each other or completely separate and there are even 100 lines between them, whatever. Selected rows will be run at that point. So you select your rows, you use the selected option from this drop-down list, and then simply click Run. Only the selected rows will be run to SAP. Similar thing with the filtered option. Start and end row don't apply anymore, but the rows that are visible in your Excel sheet will be run to SAP. Meaning that you have possibly a huge Excel template where you have a lot of data and you want to filter it. You use the filters that Excel gives and you filter your data. Now using from this drop-down list the option filtered and then hitting Run, it will mean that only the visible rows will be run to SAP. So nothing is done about those that are filtered out, those that are not seen in the Excel file. So you can run your script by the row numbers in Excel, so start and end row, or you can do selected, or you can do filtered. There's one more very cool option that you have when you are using this Excel add-in. That is a pop-up window for possible SAP values. So let's say you're entering data onto this particular template that we see right here. This is about materials, and for each material here we see a base unit of measure. Now, base unit of measure is something that we see in Excel, so we want to give a value to that field. But maybe we're not sure what the possible options are in SAP, and we know that for a specific material we don't want it to be kilograms, but we're not sure what we want it to be. So we can put our cursor in column C on one of the rows and then hit this button in the Excel add-in that says SAP values or lookup values. When we hit that button, we actually take connection to SAP, and according to the selected script, the script is taking us through in SAP very quickly and finally popping up the possible SAP values for that specific field, the field where we have our cursor in Excel. So we bring up a list of possible values for base unit of measure. If the list of possible values is too long, then what we see is a search window where we can actually give search criteria and search for the correct value. So it would be like searching for a specific value in SAP directly, but we can do it here in Excel. I have an Excel template here, actually 2 Excel templates here with published scripts. How to publish scripts you can see on the slides. Just rewind a little and you will see the steps on the slides. What I want to show you right now is how to use the Excel add-in. So I have an Excel file open. I have my Winshuttle menu here at the top. Click that. I have both options, transaction and query, but we're talking about transactions, so let's go with that. And now I have my side panel here. From my first drop-down list, I can see that I only have one script available. That's fine. I will use exactly that script. Then I can check my start and end row, or if I wanted to, I have the option of selected and filtered as well. Let's do as specified below. 2 to 11, that's just enough for my purposes right now, and all I do is hit the run button. Alright, my script ran through just fine. I get my log messages here in A, as that it's how it was specified for this particular script. And all the rows say record was created. This is a very simple example about updating annual salary for employees. So we have the personal numbers and the annual salary and some other information to go with that. So a quick example how to use the Excel add-in. Let's look at another example as well. I have another Excel file here. The Excel file is slightly more complex because it's about GL entries. Again, FB50 transaction in SAP. And we have a loop in the script. So what I've done with the Excel file is use some conditional formatting. So whenever I put an H here in my column A to signify that it's header data on that row, the conditional formatting in Excel will actually give me a nice background color for that H row as well. So with the coloring, it's just easier to see where a new document begins, because a new document always begins with an H row, and so on. So you can play around with Excel as much as you want, pretty much, using formulas and for conditional formatting and everything like that, as we see here as well. Now, again, selected and filtered are options that I can use. Don't want to right now. What I do want to show you is the lookup values that we talked about as well. So let's say I'm not sure what currency key I want to use for this particular document. Do I want it to be euros or USD or something completely different? Just as an example. So I will put my cursor there, hit the lookup values here, and Winshuttle will be asking for my SAP password because it's actually taking connection to SAP. And as soon as I've given my SAP credentials, Winshuttle comes back with a list of currency keys directly from SAP. Now, if I wanted to use Barbados dollars, I can simply double click there. I can simply double click the value, and the value comes to Excel. Now that I already have a value in that field in Excel, Winshuttle wants to know whether it is okay to override that value. And of course it is. I wanted to use Barbados dollars. Now again, I have my data in Excel, so I could run my script. The Excel add-in here is very, very useful for end users. So any user that is just looking to use an existing script, all they do is open the Excel file, put the data in, and then run the script from this side panel, the Excel add-in. Right now, I don't have Winshuttle application as a separate window open at all. All I need is my Excel, and then I can have the side panel here. I don't need a separate window for the Winshuttle application. This is a very efficient way to run your scripts when you are actually just looking to run an existing script, or several of them. Every user has to have the Winshuttle application installed on their computer in order for this Excel add-in to be here in Excel. But an end user who only runs existing scripts doesn't necessarily have to open their Winshuttle application separately ever. They can simply use their Excel add-in from Excel. A person who creates new scripts with Winshuttle needs to open the Winshuttle application separately in order to create new scripts. And once you have created a new script, you already have that Winshuttle window open. Even if you want to test run your script, since you have the Winshuttle window already open because you have just created a new script, it makes sense for you to open Excel file, check through your test data input in Excel, save that, and flip back over to the Winshuttle window, since it is already there open and you have the run button right there. And then you can test run your script like that. You could use the add-in as well, but I don't think it makes any sense because you already have the two windows open anyway. So the recommendation is that end users running existing scripts will use the add-in in Excel, and script developers, when they are actually developing new scripts, should use the two different windows, one for Excel and one for Winshuttle. If a developer user is actually right now, today, just trying to run data with an existing script to SAP, then of course they are essentially an end user. So all they have to do is open an Excel file and use the add-in. All right, that concludes the final part of our Advanced 2 package for Winshuttle Transaction. With Basic and Advanced 1 and 2 training packages, you have now seen all the different features and capabilities that Winshuttle Transaction has to offer. You should be able to create your own scripts, add conditions and loops to them, as well as include long text fields and link scripts together for a bigger process. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining.